How y'all doing? And first and foremost, I'd like to say I appreciate y'all for tapping in with the channel. Continue giving me feedback in the comments, and we're gonna continue working. And on another note, shout out Louis Z for giving me this great recommendation. So without me talking much more than I need to, we gonna get right into this. But first, another thing, I need y'all to get y'all's lighters ready, cause we about to see who about to get smoked in this episode. All right, so we're revisiting today is back east, NJSP, the New Jersey State Prison. Let me give y'all a little bit of history about this New Jersey State Prison. So it was formerly known as Trenton State Prison. It's a state men's prison in Trenton, New Jersey, operated by the New Jersey Department of Corrections. I bet y'all didn't know this. It's one of the oldest prisons in America, if not the oldest still standing prison. Like, bro, this thing was built in like the 1700s or something. It's old as hell. But anyways, it's the state's only completely maximum security institution, housing the most difficult and or dangerous male offenders and inmates in the population. You feel me, people? So NJSP operates two security units and provides high level of custodial supervision and control. Professional treatment services such as education, social work, and are priority. They are a priority at the facility. But the Bureau of State used industries operated the bedding and the clothing shops that were once located in Shop Hall. These industries have been relocated to Southwood State Prison. So that's another prison for a whole other day. But most importantly, I know what y'all want though. Y'all want to get into these inmates. So, but first, before we get into inmates, y'all know I like talking. So let me just give you a little bit more history about New Jersey State Prison. Player, pay attention. Let's get it. NJSP also housed New Jersey's death row for men and the execution chamber until the state abolished it in 2007. One of the notable inmates is Jesse Timendigas, who was formerly on death row for the rape and murder of a 7-year-old. The crime inspired the passing of Megan's Law. So, real quick, this Jesse guy, he had 2 previous convictions for sexually assaulting young girls. In 1979, he pled guilty to the attempted aggravated sexual assault of a 5-year-old girl. He was given suspended sentence after failing to attend counseling. He was sent for 9 months to, I don't know why I'm giving y'all a history about this scummy individual, but either way, yeah, he was the Megan's Law is formed because of this man and his actions. So anyways, now let's get to what y'all are here for. First up, we have Sundiata Oakley. He was a former member of the Black Panther Party and the Black Libertarian Army who was sentenced to life in prison in 1974 for murdering a New Jersey state trooper. Yeah, they definitely smoked his ass. Most definitely, most definitely. Next up, we have the rapper Max B. He's a member of Bird Gang, which was close with Dipset at one time, but he refused a 10-year plea deal, hoping to beat the charges and return to rapping. But his hopes didn't come true because he was sentenced to 17 to 20 years for the first-degree aggravated manslaughter. So basically, Max B pretty much what had happened was with him was back in 2009 he was sentenced to 75 years in prison for conspiracy charges pertaining to armed robbery, kidnapping, aggravated assault, and felony murder. While in prison, he secured a deal with a publishing company in his debut album Vigilante Season, which was released in 2011 on September 16th. But on September 16, 2016, it was announced that Max B took a 20-year plea bargain for aggravated manslaughter and was set to be released on July 1st, 2029. In July 2019, Max B has had his sentence reduced from 20 years to 12 years. He is scheduled to be released sometime in 2022. So, Max B, he will be out on these streets real soon. Free you. You dig? Next up, we have Anthony Ballum. He was a serial killer who murdered 4 sex workers. Let me tell y'all a little something about this Anthony dude. Known as the Trenton Strangler, is an American serial killer who raped and murdered 4 prostitutes between 1994 and 1996 in Trenton, New Jersey, luring them with sex for drugs encounters. Ballum was captured after his would-be fifth victim escaped, and he was later given a life sentence for his crimes. Damn. He got smoked, people. He got smoked. Next up, we have Reuben Carter. He was a boxer wrongfully convicted of murder. He was released in 1985 and went on to become an activist for the wrongly convicted. Well, look at you, Reuben Carter. You out there doing community shit. I see you, player. Good shit, good shit. Next up, we have Richard Cunningham. He was a serial killer from New Jersey who tortured and killed and dismembered at least 6 women and possibly many more from 1967 to 1980. Let me tell you a little bit more about this guy. Okay? He was an American serial killer and rapist who murdered a minimum of 12 young women and girls in New York and New Jersey. Between 1967 and 1980, he was nicknamed the Torso Killer and the Times Square Killer. In 2009, nearly 30 years after being convicted of 5 murders and trials in New Jersey and New York in 1981, Cunningham admitted to a journalist that he had committed at least 80 to 100 perfect murders of women in various regions of the United States, of which since 2009, 6 have been subsequently confirmed and their cases closed. Cunningham was convicted of 5 murders, 2 in New Jersey and 3 in New York, plus multiple charges of kidnapping and sexual assault and other charges. 4 surviving victims testified against him. He was convicted of 3 abduction rape survivor cases and acquitted in 1. Yeah, this dude is extremely scummy, and they chipped his ass off with life in prison. See, he's lucky he wasn't in California or something. They definitely would have knocked his ass off real quick. Next up, we have Charles Colin. He was New Jersey's most prolific serial killer, admitted to killing at least 35 people while working as a nurse in numerous New Jersey and Pennsylvania hospitals. Yeah, about that. And his criminal penalty was 18 consecutive life sentences. Yeah, dweeb. It's over for you. Next up, we have Jerome Dennis. He's a serial killer who murdered 5 women and teenage girls. Let me tell you something about this Jerome. He's a serial killer, and while on parole for a prior rape conviction, he kidnapped and murdered 5 women and girls in 2 cities in Essex County, New Jersey, between 91 and 92. After his arrest, he pled guilty and was later sentenced to life imprisonment in 93. You fucking scummy individual. Next up, we have Bruno Hauptmann. He was executed for kidnapping and murder of Charles Lindbergh's toddler son. And yeah, if y'all know who Charles Lindbergh is, he was an American aviator, military officer, author, inventor, and activist. Basically, dude did a whole lot of shit. This dude, Bruno Hampton, just fucked himself all the way around. But yeah, dude got sentenced. He got executed. Mind you, he got executed in 1936. 1936. Dude has been dead for almost 100 years. Almost 100 years we've been smoking on that Bruno Hauptmann pack. So next up, we have James Kodatich. My grammar is bad, people. Work with me here. But I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a sip of this drink. James Kodatich. He was sentenced to death for raping and murdering 2 women in 2 months in late 1982. His sentence was commuted to life in prison. Yep. They could have smoked him a little more. Next up, Peter Kuznawski. He was a serial killer who killed a man and 2 children. He was executed in 1929. See, this goes to show you people how old this damn prison is. 1929. They probably was still, man. had the firing squad back then or something. Next up, this guy